Hello world and welcome to OhJesseBoy. Today we're doing another segment of your favorite YouTried cooking. As always, I'm your host, Jesse, and today we'll be making bean burgers, which may or may not turn out because it's pretty thrown together. But it should be fun to watch, so let's get started. As always, the first step is to wash your hands. But since I already did that, I didn't wash my hands. But since I already did that, we'll move on to the next step, which involves more frying. Because last time we fried things, it went so well I thought, let's do it again. So, come over here and get our oil and pour it into this frying pan. You want to get it so that you can fit a patty in there. So, you know, a lot. Once you've filled your pan up, you can light your stove. Get that oil nice and hot, but not too hot, because if you watched the last time, you'll set off the smoke alarms. A good medium heat is enough. So now we'll come over here to our ingredients, and let me introduce you to what we're going to be throwing in to that hot oil. We'll start over here. We have 1 tablespoon of garlic salt. You're actually supposed to use chili powder, but I don't like chili powder, so we're going to use that instead. A half a cup of rolled oats, not instant oatmeal kind. Here we have our 14 ounces of mixed beans from a can. You can also just steep them yourself, but since we didn't have time, we're throwing it together. We're just going to use this can. Then we have 1 medium-sized onion, which we quartered, which literally means cutting into quarters. Special shout out to Madie Megan, because I didn't know that. And then we have salt and pepper, which you just add to flavor as much as you want. And you're supposed to put this all in a food processor, but since we don't have that, we're going to put it in a blender. If you don't have a blender, then I don't consider you a worthy person to be watching my video, and you should just go get one now. Bye! Once you throw all of your ingredients here, just do as Fall Out Boy says and light it up! If you ended up having to use a blender like we did, you may or may not have struggled. 10 minutes later, and we finally got our mixture to the consistency that we wanted. So we're going to put it into this bowl. It's like a nice refried bean texture. That looks delicious. Oh, God. It's not so bad. So basically, once you get this to look like if someone wants to come in and say, "Did you poop in that bowl?" you could be like, "Probably." That means you did it okay. So we're gonna put this into little patty shapes and throw it in our hot oil. Once you get it into this nice patty shape, you can toss it back and forth and it tends to make it stiffen up. And then, once you think it's good enough to throw in the hot oil, you just crap, we don't have a frying spatula! When it's a nice dark brown color and it keeps popping your hand and maybe it's falling apart, ow! That means it's time to do the pull-out method. Just get it and take it away. I would consider that a fail. Let's do it again! Now we're going to attempt to taste this for the very first time. I approve. It's okay if you don't like onions, because I hate onions. And this is okay, even though there was like a ton of onion in it. It's like,
Someone got a little hungry and broke in for an early snack.
As our first patty was falling apart in the oil, it came to me, I forgot to add an egg. So, if you're doing this, hopefully you weren't following along and you're watching this ahead of time, use an egg. That will help with your blending and then you're not falling apart in the oil. We also added some flour because when we added the egg, it got really gooey, but it's still pretty gooey, so we're going to start adding it in dollops instead of with our hands. Here we go, round 2. That's why it's called You Tried Cooking and not You Did Cooking. This is a nice brown color. That's what you're actually going for. See how it's staying together? The first cut is always the deepest. Just like the okra fritters, we learn from our mistakes and we move forward, making better food every time.
Don't spill on yourself again.
It hurts so much!
By the way, if you didn't catch that, Jesse spilled flaming hot oil on his feet.
This week's flannel panel is Megan and Madie! So tell me, what are your initial thoughts on these burgers?
Well, I would say they're more like balls than burgers. But they look tastier than I expected them to. And they smell like fried food, which is good with me.
Megan.
I don't know. The fact that you said it looked like poop in a bowl is kind of worrying me, but like Madie said, it smells good, so let's do it.
Do it!
Ready?
Okay.
It's,
Cheers. It's like way better than I thought it would be. I was like, I have to take a bite now.
Ooh, that's good. I'm gonna eat the extra crunchies in here. You want that one?
No, I still got some crunchies. The crunchy parts are the best. It's a little salty, but I'm also a nutrition major, so you know, I can't get picky.
And I'm not a nutrition major, so I like the salt.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, if you could rank it on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, what would you give it, Megan?
I'd say a 4. I like
Okay.
it.
Is
Fantastic.
5 stars like,
The best.
but comparative to what?
Perfection. Comparative to what you feel in your heart.
Okay, I would say a 3.
Okay, there you have it, folks. The flannel panel has spoken.
That was good.
I forgot what I was going to say.